Welcome to Madridista Central. I'm your host FTT, and in today's video I'm going to talk about Real Madrid after losing to Arsenal 2-1 last night. Yesterday was one of the most catastrophic days in Real Madrid history. People spoke about the remontada. But where is the remontada? Where is the remontada? I didn't see it yesterday. And to be honest, yesterday was a very, very, very terrible day. We lost 2-1 from Martinelli in the stoppage time, just before the Real Madrid game is about to end. And this was one of my worst days in history of Real Madrid. And I'm gonna be honest, what's next for Real Madrid after losing to Arsenal? The next thing Real Madrid should do is to train the players harder, or maybe even replace the players, because I don't think their training is the problem. Real Madrid players, they train enough. The manager has terrible tactics. And we have players who should not be in their position right now, because Mbappe should not be a striker. Now, what I want is this change. I want change for Real Madrid. Real Madrid needs change after losing to Arsenal. We need to play Mbappe as a left winger or right winger, or Vinicius left winger, right winger, and we put Rodrigo in the bench, or vice versa. Or you put either Mbappe in the bench, or you put Rodrigo, or you put Vinicius, because none of them can play as a striker. They can only play as wingers. So I would suggest that we keep Vinicius Jr. as left winger, Rodrigo as a right winger, bench Mbappe, and then switch between Mbappe and Vinicius every single game or halftime or something like that. And at the striker position, we need a proper striker. We need to buy a proper striker in Real Madrid right now. That's what I want at the striker position. Or you play Endrick, if Endrick even is strong enough. And in order to buy a striker, is that one of these two, either you sell Vinicius, Rodrigo, or Mbappe from Real Madrid, and you replace them with a proper striker, if that's the case. And one more thing. I have a lot of things to say. So when it comes to the defense, we need to do the same thing. Either Rudiger or Asensio sits in the bench, and we buy Dean Huijsen. Alright, if we buy Dean Huijsen as a centre back, Real Madrid's centre back will be stabilized. That's what we need right now. And then we're signing Trent Alexander-Arnold. And as CDM, I would want Camavinga, Chouameni. Seriously, they are not so great as midfielders. I think we have to sell one of them, if I'm going to be realistic. You choose which one. And then we keep Valverde. And of course, Modric also. He's older, but he can sit in the bench for one more year if he wants to. That's what I think. Because right now, I'm not giving any of these players credit. What Real Madrid did to me as a fan and did to the rest of the Real Madrid fans, it's unforgivable. Okay? What Real Madrid did after losing to Arsenal is unforgivable. This should not be praised. We should not try to praise these players. And worst of all is, I went to social media and I checked X, and you know what it says? The Real Madrid players have been rewarded with a day off. After losing to Arsenal, after being knocked out, they get rewarded with a day off. Are you effing kidding me? Are you joking? Are you serious? You're giving these players a day off after losing to Arsenal? Is that how things are right now? A day off? It's a disgrace, man. It's an absolute disgrace. That's all I have to say. It's an absolute disgrace. You don't reward people with a day off who play a bad game. If they play a good game, then you reward them with a day off. But if they don't win, why would you? They did not even do their job. They were awful. They were terrible at the Bernabéu. This is probably the worst Real Madrid side I have seen since 2018, 2019. Back in 05-06 days. This is going to pre-Cristiano Ronaldo days in Real Madrid. That's how bad this team is. And everyone said, Mbappe. Where is Mbappe? Mbappe is part of the problem. Carlo Ancelotti is part of the problem. This team is part of the problem. Los Galacticos, Real Madrid will win a treble next season. Everyone should be afraid of Kylian Mbappe. And now we are knocked out from the UCL by the team no one expected us to get knocked out by, called Arsenal. And yes, people said, it's just Arsenal. It's just Arsenal, FTT. It's just Arsenal. And now look, we are out of the UCL. We're done. We're finished. Okay? I'm not going to say anything else. Real Madrid are finished. Done. Their time is up. Now there's nothing to say about this team. Their performance is absolutely terrible. It's shambles. Okay. Nothing good to say about this team right now. And now Carlo Ancelotti might leave Real Madrid after this happens. The sources says that Carlo Ancelotti has intensified his agreement with the Brazilian national team. And this guy is actually preparing for a loss. He was doing this before the Real Madrid vs Arsenal game. But he came out after. And the reason he did was because he knows he will not be in the club for so long. Yes, guys, Carlo Ancelotti will leave Real Madrid after this season is ending. And now, worst of all, Real Madrid, they have a tough game against Athletic Bilbao. And now they have a game between, I think they have a game at Copa del Rey. And worst of all is Mbappe suffered an injury. Yep, Mbappe injured. Mbappe suffered, he tweaked something in the game and he was subbed off. Another thing is, how serious is that injury of Mbappe? Will he ever be the same when he comes back? That's the question. I think he walked out, but people say that was an ACL injury. I don't know if that was an ACL injury. It did not look like an ACL injury. But only God knows what Mbappe suffered. And I don't think it's that serious, but I think he might be, at worst case, he'll be out for a number of weeks or maybe even miss the rest of this season. At worst case, due to that injury. And if he leaves Real Madrid, if he gets injured and is out for the season, the Real Madrid will be back to playing without him. And do you think Real Madrid can actually play good without Mbappe? We'll see. And if Real Madrid does different without Mbappe, then we know who is the problem. But we'll see. We'll see. I'll see. I don't know if Mbappe is the problem. I'm not gonna say Mbappe is the problem, or he is or he isn't. I'm not gonna say that. I just wanna watch and observe and see how Real Madrid play the coming games without Kylian Mbappe, and we have to find out how serious this injury is. We know that he's gonna be suspended anyway, one match. But anyways, we'll see how serious that injury is. Of course, guys, make sure to notify. Make sure to like the video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to Madridista Central. And I'll see you in my next video. Hala Madrid, Yana Damas. Bye bye.